In 2025, a detector buried beneath the Antarctic ice picked up a signal that shouldn't exist. It came from below the horizon, meaning it had passed through thousands of miles of solid rock before reaching the surface. According to the laws of physics, that signal should have been absorbed. It wasn't. Scientists still don't know what it was. This is just one of dozens of unexplained discoveries hidden beneath the Antarctic ice. So today, ask yourself, why is the most isolated continent on Earth also the most restricted? And what exactly are scientists finding down there that takes years, sometimes decades, to announce? Antarctica is the only continent on Earth with no native population, no government, and no private ownership. It's governed by a single document, the Antarctic Treaty, signed by just a handful of nations. Officially, it exists to protect the continent for peaceful, scientific use. But ask yourself this: why does a treaty written in 1959 still ban any military activity, mineral extraction, or independent exploration on an entire continent? The mystery isn't new. In 1947, the United States launched Operation High Jump, at the time, the largest Antarctic expedition in history, involving nearly 5,000 personnel, multiple warships, and an aircraft carrier. Officially, it was a training exercise. But the speed at which it was abandoned, just months after launching, has fueled questions for over 75 years. What were they really looking for, or running from? Beneath the ice sheet, which in places is over 3 kilometers thick, lies an entire hidden world. In 2026, researchers identified a massive fan-shaped network of basins beneath East Antarctica, a structure so large it reshapes our understanding of the continent's ancient past. It appears to radiate outward from a single point near the South Pole, almost as if something pulled the land apart from its center. Scientists call it geology. But the shape itself raises a question even they can't fully answer: why does it look so deliberate? For kilometers beneath the ice sits Lake Vostok, a body of liquid water the size of Lake Ontario, sealed off from the rest of the planet for possibly 15 million years. When Russian scientists finally drilled into it in 2012, they found something stranger than expected: unknown bacterial DNA, unlike anything catalogued on Earth. The lake had been isolated so long that whatever evolved inside it followed its own separate path. If life could adapt in total darkness for millions of years, what else might be down there, still waiting to be found? Here's something even stranger: Antarctica sits on the weakest point of Earth's gravity. Scientists call it the gravity hole, a region where gravitational pull is measurably lower than anywhere else on the planet. In 2026, researchers traced it to slow-moving rock deep inside the Earth's mantle, shifting for tens of millions of years. The explanation sounds simple. But ask yourself, why is the planet's single weakest gravitational point located exactly where the most secretive research base in the world happens to sit? I want to know what you think. If something truly anomalous was discovered beneath that ice, do you believe it would ever be made public? Tell me in the comments. And if mysteries like this keep you up at night, subscribe to VortexIntel. We dig into the cases no one else will. Let's go back to that signal. It was detected by NASA's ANITA experiment, designed to hunt for ghost-like particles called neutrinos. Instead, it picked up something that broke the rules: a signal arriving from an angle physically impossible for it to survive. Researchers have spent over a decade trying to explain it. Some propose exotic new particles. Others won't speculate at all. NASA's own team has admitted, no existing model accounts for what they recorded. So what does it mean when the world's most advanced detectors find something that simply shouldn't exist? In 2016, satellite images surfaced showing a near-perfect pyramid-shaped peak jutting from the Antarctic ice in the Ellsworth Mountains. The images went viral overnight. Geologists quickly explained it as a naturally occurring rock formation called a nunatak, common in mountain ranges worldwide. The explanation is reasonable. But it hasn't stopped the theories, and it raises a fair question: in a place this unexplored, how would we even know the difference between nature and something else? Now for the theory historians still argue about. In 1938, Nazi Germany sent an expedition to Antarctica, Operation Neuschwabenland, officially to claim whaling territory. They mapped over 600,000 square kilometers and dropped metal swastika markers across the ice. After the war, rumors spread that the expedition had located caves or even built a hidden base. Most historians dismiss this as wartime propaganda and post-war myth. But the documented fact remains: a global power spent enormous resources mapping a frozen wasteland, for whaling rights it apparently never used. Here's the uncomfortable pattern: discoveries beneath Antarctic ice routinely take years, sometimes over a decade, to reach the public, after passing through layers of peer review, government funding bodies, and international committees. Scientists call this normal scientific process. Maybe it is. But ask yourself, if something were found that genuinely changed our understanding of life, history, or physics, would the public be told immediately, or carefully, slowly, on someone else's timeline? Maybe everything beneath that ice has a perfectly rational explanation: ancient geology, isolated bacteria, sensitive instruments picking up noise we don't yet understand. Or maybe the reason Antarctica remains the most restricted place on Earth has very little to do with penguins and treaties, and everything to do with what's still buried beneath 3 kilometers of ice. This was another investigation by VortexIntel. Until the next video.